Right now at 5, a man from Secaucus is hit by a Kansas City Southern train, and authorities currently have no idea why he was even there.
And roads are a lot better as we start our day today, and temperatures are going to start to get a lot better. We'll take a look at your forecast coming up.
Also, a murder-suicide in Colorado ends in death of 2 people.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM morning news. It is 5 a.m. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So it is a very cold start for us this morning. I'm sure most of you, if you've been out yet, have probably noticed. In fact, our little bug down there says it's about 9 degrees. It's chilly, but it's going to be a lot warmer today than what it was yesterday. Temperatures will rise through the day instead of fall through the day. And we've got a much warmer week ahead of us as well. So that's heading out this morning. You may need to do another scrape on your car. I certainly had to, but again, it was just a thin layer of frost, so it shouldn't take you more than a couple extra minutes. But do be prepared as some of us get back to work to do a little scraping this morning. Now, right now at the Joplin Airport, we are 13 degrees. Feels like 5. With a south breeze at 5. Across the region, we are cold, but take a look at the wind arrows as they're shifting out of the south now on the backside of a low pressure system, so that's some good news. We'll tell you about that. 14 in Iola, Fort Scott, 12 in Pittsburgh, 15 Miami, 13 Neosho and Carthage, and with the wind, even a light breeze. Feels like 5 in Iola, 4 in Fort Scott, 15 Miami, and feels like 8 in Neosho this morning. If you're starting your drive this morning, MoDOT camera, I-44 range light looks good. We got a green light for that morning drive as we'll be cold, but partly cloudy, mostly clear skies. Same for the drive home. And like I said, roads are finally starting to make some big improvements across the area. As we go into today, we're looking at a high of about 39 degrees, so better than we were yesterday. Still chilly, but better. Other mostly clear skies, and tonight will be mostly clear, partly cloudy, dropping back down only to 34, which certainly beats 10 degrees for sure. And as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, it's not looking too bad out there. Look at, we go into Wednesday, Tuesday should say 39. Okay, well anyway, Wednesday's 39, 52, 63 on Friday, 58 by Saturday, 53 Sunday, and 55 on Monday. So a nice warm situation building in for us. And we'll have more on your forecast here in just a few minutes.
Thank you for the forecast, Chris. A Secaucus man dies on a Joplin railroad track. Authorities say just before 10 p.m. Sunday night, Ryan Chili's went on the railroad tracks west of businesses closer to the Fountain Road overpass north of Joplin. A Kansas City Southern train then hit Chili's when he was pronounced dead on the scene. Nobody on the train was hurt, and there is no word yet on why he was even on the tracks. Monday morning, Newton County authorities responded to a single car crash near State Route NN and Dutch M. The car was driving east on Dutch M and left on the roadway, hitting a guardrail and overturning. No one was injured. Authorities say they will be replacing the guardrail in the coming days, but for now, use caution through the area. The guardrail will be marked for caution. It was early Christmas morning when Thornton, Colorado police were alerted to a shooting outside of a church. A lot of questions remain about the murder-suicide that took place. Matt Reynolds has more on this tragic story.
Sad. It's real sad.
Luis Sanchez says he heard what sounded like 2 gunshots right across the street from his apartment.
It's real bad, you know.
It was early Sunday morning, Christmas morning, at the Kingdom Hall of Jehovah's Witnesses on Milky Way in Thornton. When the shooting stopped, 2 people were dead. Thornton police say a husband killed his wife, then took his own life. Police say the couple were former members of the congregation.
Well, it's terrible happen any days, but mostly on the morning for time to the church open, 7:30, the first service.
For a few hours after the shooting, the Adams County Bomb Squad investigated what were described as suspicious devices inside the church. No word yet on what, if anything, they found.
In a written statement, the congregation said, "Our hearts go out to the family and friends of those who have been traumatized by the horrendous actions that took place and took the life of an innocent victim and threatened the lives of many others." Police have not released the names of the shooter nor his wife. If you already taken down your Christmas tree but aren't sure what to do with it, the City of Joplin has tree collection points for discarding. Starting yesterday and running through January 31st, you can now discard national trees at the following locations: Humphrey Park at Ithaca Street in the Royal Heights area, McDowell Park at Glendale Road in the Jackson Avenue, place trees in the southwest corner of the parking lot, and the Public Works Center at 1301 West 2nd Street. Just look for the Christmas tree drop-off sign. People are welcome to pick up the trees for use in establishing fish habitats. Joplin City Hall staff will take the remaining trees to the city's processing site to be chipped. Same-sex couples in China are making their love official in the United States, but all from the comfort of their home. Mark Stewart reports on how Utah is making that happen.
This Disney-loving couple, Yi Young and Johnny Ni, shared this first selfie kiss with masks on almost 3 years ago.
And this year we have this little guy with us.
Yet as a gay couple living in China, getting married hasn't always been an option. Until now. In October, the couple tied the knot in a virtual ceremony.
Yes.
From their home in Shanghai.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you. Wow.
So just one piece of.
But there's a high-tech twist. The ceremony and certificate actually originated on the other side of the ocean in Utah County, Utah, in the United States. During the pandemic, the clerk's office began offering online weddings as a service. Now, couples from outside the U.S., like E and Johnny, are logging on to get married.
Was the intention to allow same-sex couples from around the world to get married in Utah?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't our intention, but we're really happy to serve members of our community. And our community today is very global. And if we're able to serve people outside the physical boundaries of our community, that's great too.
From January to September of this year, 399 couples from China have been married using the online service. 117 were the same gender. For the two men, getting married wasn't necessarily a priority. And in China, such a certificate carries no legal weight or protection. The country has even banned the portrayal of gay relationships on TV, going so far as to cut out any gay references in Hollywood movies. But with Johnny moving to the United Kingdom next year for business school, this felt like the right thing to do.
When we talked about the situation we face, like move together, long distance relationship is a challenge we will face. We think, okay, probably we could get married at this point.
Yeah, actually it will give me more confidence to have a good life in a new country.
Mark Stewart, CNN, New York.
That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in the first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, state leaders for Lady Gorillas are out. We have who is helping the Ladies Gorillas top some leaderboards in the MIAA. Plus, a family receives a special gift from Bethlehem and it's what they wanted all Christmas. And why potatoes can be good for you if you prepare them correctly. You're watching the KOAM Morning News, more real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
The 9th-ranked Missouri Southern Lions are 4-1 in conference play this year and sitting in 4th place in the standings. Through 12 total games, Lacey Stokes is averaging 16.8 points per game, good for 4th best in the MIAA, and she dominates the conference in assists with 75 on the year. Maddie Stokes leads the conference in blocks with 2.4 per game. She also ranks 4th in rebounds. Pittsburgh State is also at the top of the leaderboard in a few categories. PSU ranks 1st in the MIAA in team rebounds and free throw percentage. Gorillas have also been really good from distance as a team. Tristan Gegg is averaging a conference best 3.5 three-pointers per game. She adds 16.5 total points per game. Corinna Gerber is another weapon. She's 3rd in the MIAA in field goal percentage. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Seahawks 24-10 on Christmas Eve to secure their 5th straight season with at least 12 wins. Chiefs are currently 12-3 with 2 regular season games to go. The Kansas City defense was a big factor in the win on Saturday. Seattle entered the game with the 7th best scoring offense in the NFL, and Kansas City held them to just 2 of 14 on third down. In the second half, the Chiefs picked up 2 big fourth down stops, and Juan Thornhill came down with an interception to help put away the game.
We're on a mission here in Kansas City, and the goal is to finish the season strong. Last few weeks we, haven't been getting the job done as far as just finishing strong. So it was pretty dope to get out there today and finish the game, pretty strong. Gino been playing some great football all year, Pro Bowler type of guy, so we knew the task coming in, to have to put that flame out. Great receiver in 14, of course, on the other side. I feel like our young DB did a hell of a job holding DK and, holding that side of the ball down. So, hats off to those guys.
The Los Angeles Rams won this weekend as well. They were led by a dominant performance from Oklahoma alum Baker Mayfield. Mayfield was 24 of 28 for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns. His completion rate was the second highest of his career, and he set the Rams' single-game completion percentage record.
He's been great, and I just think he sees the field really well. For such a fiery competitor, he's got a nice even-keeled demeanor in between series where he's able to, he sees things really well. He's able to have great communication, and today things were really fluid and smooth, and, to not have to punt at all against an outfit like that was a big-time accomplishment for Baker and the offense.
Well, still to come, tourists and locals in Mexico City are surprised by snow, and we don't have any snow in our immediate forecast. We'll talk about a warm-up on the way when the KOAM Morning News returns. Well, the roads are starting to look a lot better for us across the region. Take a look. I-44 and Range Line here looking pretty good. Yesterday morning, it was a little bit on the wet side, but this morning, considerably drier, thanks to the MoDOT camera there. And you still got some scraping you might have to do. There's a little bit of frost out there that we got overnight, so it might take you a couple of extra minutes to clear that off, so just be prepared. I know a lot of us getting back to work, starting the work week again after a nice holiday weekend, so do be prepared to do a little scraping this morning. Give yourself some time there. In Joplin right now, we're 13, feels like 5 with a south breeze at 5, but that's kind of the key is that breeze is at 5 because look behind me here. See the spin and the arrows before they went away there on that map. That's the system starting to move on off to our east, and that's ushering in a southerly breeze, and that's why we're going to start to warm up starting today. So we've got 14 Iola, Fort Scott, 13 Chitopa, 15 Miami, 13 in Carthage. You factor in the breeze, even a light one right now makes it feel like 5 in Iola, 4 in Fort Scott, 15 Miami, and feels like 4 in Carthage this morning. As you start your drive back to work, you can see traffic is flowing, as we showed you earlier, looking pretty good. Got a green light for your morning drive. Most of the roads in our area are starting to show as either clear or at least mostly clear. Still might be a slick spot or two, so do be cautious, but otherwise we're looking pretty good, but cold. And as we head into the afternoon, a green light for the drive homes will be mostly clear skies and still a little bit cool, but not as bad as we were yesterday because instead of temperatures falling through the day, they're actually going to rise through the day, the way it's supposed to go when the sun comes out. Heading for a high of 39 degrees today, we'll have mostly clear skies, maybe some winds gusting upwards of about 20 miles an hour. Heading into tonight, we drop back down to 34, but take a look at this. We rise. We'll hit this 34 fairly early, and temperatures will be rising. We'll be near 40 come sunrise tomorrow, but we're also still watching those future wind gusts. As we head into this afternoon, we'll start to see some of these potentially picking up, and it's really going to go once we get into tomorrow morning through Thursday, where look at this. We could see wind gusts pushing 50, 60 miles an hour, and as we've talked about, that is enough to potentially bring down small tree limbs or possibly cause power outages, so just be aware of that over the next couple of days. All right, let's look at that 7-day forecast, shall we? 53 tomorrow. How about that? 60 on Thursday, if that wasn't good enough for you. 56 by Friday, maybe a stray shower or two on New Year's Eve, 53. And then by New Year's Day, we're looking pretty decent, partly cloudy, 55, 57 by next Monday. But we are watching some thunderstorm chances as we start the next week. Well, Massachusetts family has received a special gift from Bethlehem, a stray dog they found on the street in the West Bank. As Jordan Yeagolinzer reports, it was a miracle the dog arrived just in time for Christmas.
I saw Cookie on the street sitting with her 3 puppies. Monica Mukarker has lived in Watertown for 5 years. A couple months ago, she returned home to the West Bank to visit her family with her husband, Elias, and their daughter. That's when they found something they just couldn't leave behind.
I just told my husband, stop the car.
The couple approached the dog and gave her and her puppies food and water. They worked on getting her into the only shelter in the West Bank and checked on her every day in the same spot that they found her.
After that, 3 days, 4 days, she started even noticing the car, recognizing the car, and coming to us without even us going out yet. She knew we were coming to help her.
Finally, 2-year-old Cookie, as they named her, and her puppies made it into the Bethlehem Animal Shelter. Cookie was suffering from dehydration. 2 of her puppies were adopted. The other didn't make it.
I felt like Cookie deserved better life. She deserved a home.
Monica, feeling connected to the stray dog, realized she couldn't return to Boston without her, but she didn't know how to get her home.
I told Diana, you know what? I'm gonna take Cookie to Boston. I don't know how. You gotta help me with this.
The founder of the Bethlehem Animal Shelter, Diana Babish, did just that, turning to Facebook in hopes of finding a volunteer to transport Cookie, since Monica wasn't able to take her home due to travel restrictions.
I think it maybe took not too long, maybe a couple of months from the time I saw Diana posting.
Helene Block founded Kobe Henru, a pet food bank in Sudbury that works to feed hungry dogs and cats. She saw the post from Diana on Facebook, and her daughter just happens to be studying in Israel.
Her daughter is an angel, and she said, I can take her.
After finalizing all the paperwork, booking the flights, and making sure Cookie was up to date with her vaccinations and healthy enough for a flight to the other side of the world, the shelter in Bethlehem was ready to send her on her way.
Diana told me, oh, Cookie is coming from Bethlehem on the 25th of December. I was like, what? And Christmas Day? That's crazy.
So at 5 a.m. on Christmas morning, Monica and Helene arrived at Logan International Airport, waiting to finish the project of giving Cookie a home, 2 months in the making.
She came out, and Monica, when I was standing there waiting for my daughter and Cookie, and then all of a sudden Monica said, I see her, there she is. A 12-hour flight is rather taxing. Everybody looked tired, but not Cookie. She came out, that dog was dancing.
I promised her when I saw her, I told her, Cookie, no more streets, no more people gonna hurt you.
A gift for not just Cookie, who for the first time has a warm shelter, but also this family, who now has something extra to be grateful for this Christmas.
I told my husband I don't want any gift. Cookie is our gift for this year.
And to support dogs like Cookie or to adopt one from the AEA Bethlehem Shelter, you can visit their website at bethlehemshelter.org. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. Do you have any plans to adopt an animal anytime soon? You can vote yes or no. You can do so through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We are back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, the way you cook your potatoes might decrease or increase your chances of getting type 2 diabetes. A new study by the Diabetes Care Journal found that fried or mashed potatoes usually made with butter, oil, and cream present a higher risk rather than those who are boiled. The study consists of 54,000 participants, all who self-reported their diets. Previous research showed that there is a link between diabetes and potatoes intake. Now that the new findings show that it's really how you prepare the potatoes and what you prepare the potatoes with that is significant. Current cold weather conditions could be causing issues with your lungs. Doctors at the Mayo Clinic say that the cold, dry air hitting much of the U.S. could be causing a condition called Bagdasism, a tightening of the chest or sensation of shortness like breath. People who suffer from chronic lung conditions such as COPD could feel those symptoms worsening in extreme cold. Doctors say don't be outside in such situations if possible. Having an extra inhaler and even backup medical breathing equipment such as CPAP or oxygen concentrators could also be helpful. A new study shows harmful effects of smoking beyond respiratory and cardiovascular problems. Scientists at Ohio State University say smokers could be putting themselves at risk for cognitive decline. The findings come from a 2019 data review of more than 136,000 recent or former smokers. Participants did their own self-assessment of cognitive decline. Smokers in the 45 to 59 age range were likely to experience memory loss and confusion. Researchers think that the longer the time between smoking and quitting, the less risk for cognitive decline. If you call out sick from work Are you quietly glad that you did it? A new one poll says 3 out of 4 Americans who call out of work are quite happy about it and enjoy staying home. About a third say they enjoy being pampered. 41% of the people who were surveyed say that the people use time to clean their homes. A sick out person's favorite comfort include over-the-counter medications, a favorite blanket or comforter, easy access to control the home temperature, hot tea, and chicken noodle soup. And the worst annoyances include the inability to enjoy the favorite foods and their spouse. Christmas fun events so often focus on the young people, but health experts say don't forget about the elderly and the seniors during the holidays. Mental health experts at Cleveland Clinic say seniors are still dealing with the after effects of social isolation from the pandemic. Appearing sad or bored may be some of the signs of possible problems. Isolation in seniors can affect their mood, cognitive abilities, and even their blood pressure, blood sugar, or cholesterol. Make sure to look in on them, go for a walk with them, make a meal with them, or get involved with some of their favorite activities. That's a look at today's health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. Now here's Chris with today's forecast.
Yeah, we've got roads starting to clear out. It's going to be a little bit warmer today. We'll break down your full forecast when we come back.
Right now at 5:30, a man from Secaucus is hit by a Kansas City Southern train, and authorities currently have no idea why he was even there.
And the roads are clearing out, and we've got warmer temperatures on the way. We'll look at your forecast coming up.
Also, 2 people at an In-N-Out were trying to just hang out, experience a man saying extremely racist things to them.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 5:31. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's another very cold start for us because, temperatures yesterday, boy, they just fell through the day. That wind picked up. I got gas after the noon. Worst idea ever. I needed it. It was not really an option, but oh my goodness, it was bitterly cold. And because of that, I don't know about you, but I had to do a little scraping this morning on my windshield. There was a little bit of frost out there. So if you're heading back to work today from the long holiday weekend, give yourself a couple extra minutes to clear that thin layer of frost off. Now, the good news is it's, at least for my car, it came off pretty easily, so you shouldn't have to struggle too hard with it. In Joplin right now, we got clear skies, 13 degrees, south breeze at 5, making it feel like 5. It is cold across the region, but take a look at the wind arrows. They're shifting out of the south. That's good news. 14 Iola, 13 Chetopa, Miami, Neosho, Carthage, 12 in Lamar. Factor in the wind, feels like 5 in Iola, 13 Parsons, Miami, and feels like 6 in Carthage, feels like 0 in Stockton, and -1 in Greenfield. MoDOT camera, I-44 in Rangeline, looking good. We got a green light for your morning commute back to work. I know some of you are probably not looking forward to that morning commute, but at least it'll be all right. And we got a green light for your drive home as well, so we'll be mostly clear and in the 30s. So today, opposite of yesterday, temperature will actually rise through the day like, they're supposed to. High of 39. Under mostly clear skies, could start to see the winds pick up a little bit. As we head into tonight, we don't cool off a lot. In fact, we hit 34 early, and then temperatures begin to warm towards sunrise. We're near 40 by 6 a.m., and then look at this. 53 Wednesday, not good enough for you? Okay, how about 60 on Thursday? 56 on Friday, maybe an early shower or 2 New Year's Eve, 53. Getting a little dyslexic here. 55 on Sunday, partly cloudy for New Year's Day, and then maybe some thunderstorms next Monday, 57. So once we get through this morning, we are on an uphill ride for these temperatures. Now, they're going to go from well below normal to well above normal, but I think at this point, there's not many people complaining that it's going to be a bit on the warm side the next few days.
I'm sure not complaining.
I definitely am not either, so.
Thank you, Chris. A Secaucus, Missouri man dies on a Joplin railroad track. Authorities say just before 10 p.m. Sunday night, random Chili's went on the railroad tracks west of the businesses closer to the Fountain Road overpass north of Joplin. A Kansas City Southern train then hit Chili's. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Nobody on the train was hurt, and there's no word yet on why he was on the tracks. Earlier Monday morning, Newton County authorities responded to a single car crash near State Route NN and Dutch M. The car was driving east on Dutch M and left the roadway, hitting a guardrail and then overturning. No one was injured. Authorities say they will be replacing the guardrail in the coming days, but for now, use caution through the area. The guardrail will be marked for caution. If you've already taken down your Christmas tree but aren't sure what to do with it, the City of Joplin has 3 collection points for discard. Starting yesterday and running through January 31st, you can now discard natural trees at the following locations: Humphrey Park on Ithaca Street in the Royal Heights area, McDowell Park at Glendale Road and Jackson Avenue, place trees at the southwest corner of the parking lot, and the Public Works Center at 1301 West 2nd Street. Just look for the Christmas tree drop-off sign. People are welcome to pick up the trees and use for establishing fish habitats. Joplin City Hall staff will be taking the remaining trees to the city's processing site to be chipped. A man in custody charged with making racist comments towards an Asian American family in Northern California. This happened on Christmas Day. And since the man's arrest, other Asian Americans have come forward to say that the same man targeted them with hate speech. Don Lim has details.
Danville on Christmas morning was the last place and time Abigail Halili and her siblings expected to have an encounter like this.
And that guy just said he sells cocaine.
We heard a guy parked in his car yelling from his window, like, "Keep walking, you need to get away from that store."
The taunts quickly turned racial and included an obscene hand gesture.
He just kept going on and on saying, "You guys are Filipino idiots. You guys probably sell cocaine."
Thanks to social media, the Halili family quickly learned they weren't the only Asian Americans in the East Bay to be targeted by these racist rants. San Ramon police tell me the suspect seen in Halili's video is the man they arrested Monday, linked to this racist and homophobic tirade at an In-N-Out burger in San Ramon on Christmas Eve.
You guys filming yourself eating?
Yeah.
You're weird homosexuals.
Irene Kim and her friend Elliot Ha were filming a video for TikTok when they too say a man approached them at random, pelting them with insults so vulgar they tried to laugh it off.
In the moment, did not take it seriously, but afterwards it kind of started to hit me like, wow, this is serious.
Like what happened in Danville, the hate speech quickly escalates.
Japanese or Korean?
I'm Korean.
Yeah, you're Korean. Kim Jong-un's boyfriend, huh? I'm gonna get spit in your face and some Filipino.
After our story aired Christmas night, San Ramon police say they were inundated with tips from the public. That helped lead to the arrest of a Denver man with ties to the Bay Area. Both sets of victims realized the power of speaking out.
Making it seem like not a big deal. I think a lot of Asian people in general do that. I want to bring more awareness to this, and I want I want other people to realize like how bad it is.
I just want people to learn that hate crimes against Asian Americans is a very real thing.
Police say the man has not been formally charged, but he is facing at least 2 counts of hate crimes that could go even higher. This morning, we are discussing adopting animals.
Now, Monica McCarker has lived in Watertown for 5 years. A couple of months ago, she returned home to the West Bank to visit her family with her husband Elias and their daughter. That's when they found something they just couldn't leave behind.
The couple approached the dog and gave her and her puppies food and water. They walked on getting into their only shelter in the West Bank and checked on her every day in the same spot they found her.
That brings us to our question for you. Do you have any plans to adopt an animal anytime soon? Yes or no? So far, 80% of you say you do not. 20% of you say that you do. Make sure you vote through our website, through our app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Nice. That's a look at our top stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A family reunites with their dog that they lost 2 years ago.
Plus, a dog frolics through the snow with a deer in Ontario, Canada. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, rescuers in Spain recovered several bodies from a tragic bus accident on Sunday. Local authorities say at least 6 people died and 2 people survived after a bus drove off a bridge and into a river on Christmas Eve. A motorist noticed the broken bridge railing and alerted authorities to the scene. Of emergency crews brought the survivors to the hospital the night of the accident and later received the deceased. The region's president said bad weather may have been the cause of the accident. South Korea firing warning shots after officials say North Korean drones violated its airspace Monday. South Korea Joint Chief of Staff saying 5 North Korean drones crossed the border, one traveling to the northern part of the South Korea's capital region. South Korea firing off warning shots and sending attack helicopters to counter the drones. It is unclear if they shot any down. The Transport Ministry says flights leaving Incheon and Gimpo airports were suspended for the hour at the request of the military following the drone sightings. The incidents coming at the end of the year of the unprecedented North Korean missile testing. Attackers Friday's deadly shootings in Paris back in custody. The 69-year-old man who is under investigating for opening fire at a Kurdish community center in central Paris on Friday, which killed 3 and injured 3 others in back of police custody after earlier being sent to a police psychiatric facility. The suspect was brought in front of a judge on Monday. The suspect explained to the police after his arrest on December 23rd that he went to the community center because his original target didn't have enough people and it was difficult to load his weapon there. His goal was to kill foreigners. He indicated that his only regret was not having been able to commit suicide, and he added that if he committed suicide one day, he would, quote, take the enemies to the grave. The enemies in this case are all non-European foreigners. Powerful snowstorms in Japan killing several and injuring dozens. Japan's disaster management officials say the deadly winter weather in Japan killed 17 people since last week after snow battered the northern coastal regions. Many of the victims were buried under snow falling from rooftops or fell while removing snow off the homes and buildings. The storms also caused massive power outages. About 20,000 homes were without power on Christmas morning. As of Monday, the power has largely been restored and train and airline services have mostly resumed. Many parts of Japan's northeast reported having 3 times more snow than the average this season. Tourists and locals in Mexico City woke up to a Christmas-like scenes on Monday when several parts of the city were covered in snow due to low temperatures. One of these places was city Ajusco Volcano, where families drove to enjoy the rare snowfall with snowball fights and building snowmen on top of their cars. Local authorities advised residents to keep themselves and their pets warm to avoid the cold. Mexico City's Integrated Risk Management activated an orange alert in the capital's municipals where the temperature reached between 33 and 37 degrees Fahrenheit. While the winter weather might not be the most fun for us humans, man's best friends and a deer are enjoying the snowfall. A recent storm which has caused chaos in the U.S. left Ontario, Canada looking like a winter wonderland. A Springo Spaniel dog was filmed playing with a stick while a deer pranced across the heavy snow. That's a look at some of the biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, thankfully our snow's starting to clear out across the area. You can see roads are looking a lot better than they have been. MoDOT, KDOT both reporting mostly clear roads for the most part across the area. In fact, a lot of them are just plain old clear. However, because it got cold and it's still cold, you need to give yourself a couple extra minutes to scrape some frost off your car this morning because it's built up out there, unfortunately. Right now in Joplin, it's still cold, 13 degrees, clear skies, feels like 5 with a south breeze of 5 miles an hour. And across the region, 2 points I want to make to you. One, it's cold. Okay, that point's done. Second, look at these wind arrows. They're coming out of the south. That's going to be a big deal here soon. 15 in Iola, 14 Fort Scott, Nevada, Pittsburgh, 13 Miami, 13 in Carthage, 12 in Lamar, and with the wind, feels like 6 in Lamar, 1 in Fort Scott, 13 in Miami, and 2 in Yates Center. So a very cold start for us today. If you're heading back to work, I know a lot of us are. The good news is we have a green light for your morning drive. There might still be some patchy slick spots, but otherwise we're looking pretty good and cold. Same for your drive home. We're looking mostly clear, cold, maybe some wind gusts to about 20 miles an hour today. Heading for a high of 39. We're actually going to warm up instead of getting colder. Mostly clear skies. And tonight we'll hit a low of 34 early, and then as we head towards sunrise, take a look at that. Temperatures begin to rise. We push near 40 by 6 a.m. You got 53 tomorrow, 60 by Wednesday, 56 on Friday. We got 53 on New Year's Eve day. Maybe an early shower or two, but they should be out of here before it's time to celebrate. And as we look at New Year's Day, check that out, 55 degrees, partly cloudy. We're watching some storm chances on Monday, 57. I wanted to show you this too. We could see the winds start to pick up later today, especially into tonight, into tomorrow, where we could see those gusts pushing anywhere from 50 to possibly upwards of 60 miles an hour as we head into Wednesday morning, throughout the day on Wednesday, and even into Wednesday night and Thursday morning as well. And as we've been talking, wind gusts of 50, 60 miles an hour are definitely enough to potentially down some small tree limbs and cause power outages. So be prepared for that. Even though the weather's going to be nice in the sky, the wind is really going to be howling. But as we head into late Thursday afternoon, we'll start to see the winds rapidly die down back behind our next system. We got a lot more of the KOAM morning news right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Sarcoxy, Missouri man dies on a Joplin Railroad track. Authorities say just before 10 p.m. Sunday night, Ryan and Chili's went on the railroad tracks west of the business closer to the Fountain Roads overpass north of Joplin. A Kansas City Southern train then hit Chili's. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Nobody on the train was hurt, and there was no word yet on why he was on the tracks. Earlier Monday morning, Newton County authorities responded to a single car crash near State Route NN and Dutch Elm. The car was driving east on Dutch Elm and left the roadway, hitting a guardrail and then overturning. No one was injured. Authorities say they will be replacing the guardrail in the coming days, but for now, use caution through the area. The guardrail will be marked for caution. Make fun art, not fine art. That's the motto of Happy Snappy Art and Paint Party's Kids Winter Art Camp. The camp kicked off in Fort Scott, Kansas on Monday. Parents paid a $25 reservation fee and paid the remaining $100 balance on the first day of camp. It provides kids a chance to complete and take home 5 different paintings. If you already taken down your Christmas tree but aren't sure what to do with it, the City of Joplin has 3 collection points for discard. Starting yesterday and running through January 31st, you can discard natural trees at the following locations: Humphrey Park at Utica Street in Royal Heights area, McDonald Park at Glendale Road and Jackson Avenue, place trees on the south corner of the parking lot, and the Public Works Center at 1301 West 2nd Street. Just look for the Christmas tree drop-off sign. People are welcome to pick up the trees used for establishing fish habitats. Joplin City Hall staff will take the remaining trees to the city's processing site to be chipped. That's a check of today's top headlines and news you need to know before you head out the door. We'll be right back after this break. A Christmas miracle for a family in North Carolina. They were reunited on Friday with their dog Isis, who disappeared back in 2020. Thanks to a tracking trip, she was found hundreds of miles away in Jacksonville, Florida. Janice Harris talked to the owner about the reunion.
Today, Nicholas Dawson is being reunited with one of his best friends.
I never thought I'd see her again. You know, it's been 2 years.
It's been 2 years since Dawson's dog, Isis, disappeared from her home in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Somehow, the 6-year-old American Staffordshire Terrier ended up 700 miles away in Florida. Luckily, Isis had a tracking chip. The Humane Society in Broward County was able to locate her owner, Nicholas Dawson. Today, they were reunited with belly rubs and joy. Isis is special to Dawson because she helped him through tough times.
She was my companion. I was going through some things, you know, and it was just me and her, so it was good to have her back.
And now that they are reunited, his children can't wait to see Isis again, too. As they get in the car and back on the road to North Carolina, his family will be complete just in time for Christmas.
I think it's going to mean a lot. I mean, it's giving me a newfound kind of hope in the holidays and to have hope and things like that, that something this small, this means a lot to me.
It is still unclear how Isis ended up in Florida, but now she is safe and will be home for the holidays. We'll be right back with a pilot adopting a dog and another check of your forecast. NASA is sharing what winter is like on Mars. According to the space agency, these photos captured Mars' changing landscape due to winter. This photo shows mega dunes with carbon dioxide frost and ice on them. The frost makes the dunes and other parts of Mars' landscape look darker. According to NASA, Mars also experiences cube-shaped snow that accompanies sub-zero temperatures. In some areas, the red planet can get as low as negative 190 degrees Fahrenheit during the winter. An abandoned dog in San Francisco got an early Christmas present this month, a forever home. The dog named Polaris was left at San Francisco airport by an international traveler who decided to continue traveling without it. According to the San Francisco Society for Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, United Airlines employees cared for the pup while it completed requirements to enter the U.S. Polaris was adopted by United Airlines captain and the airline threw an adoption party on December 15th. The company also donated $5,000 to support the San Francisco SPCA.
Well, temperatures are actually going to rise today instead of fall. We're heading for a decent high of 39 degrees. Still chilly, but not bad. Mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Winds could gust upwards of, say, about 20 miles an hour. Tonight, we drop back down early to 34, and then temperatures rise. We're near 40 by sunrise. And the other thing we've been talking about is as we head into tonight and tomorrow morning, we could start to see wind gusts pushing 50, 60 miles an hour. And as we've been mentioning, too, that could lead to its own problems like small limbs being downed and potential power outages. We're up to 53 tomorrow, 60 Thursday, 56 Friday, maybe a shower New Year's Eve day, 53, 55 by New Year's Day itself, partly cloudy, and then we're watching thunderstorm chances by next Monday with a high of 57. We've got another hour of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now at 6, authorities investigate a train striking and killing a Sarcoxie, Missouri man late Sunday night.
Roads across the area finally starting to clear out, and we've got some warmer weather on the way. We'll take a look at your forecast coming up.
Also, a car crashes into a guardrail and overturns in Newton County. Authorities report no injuries.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 6 o'clock, and a cold one to start us again today, unfortunately, but unlike yesterday, where we started out in the 30s and temperatures fell, they're actually going to rise today. We'll talk about that in a second. There is some frost out there on the cars because it did get pretty darn cold. It's still pretty darn cold, so give yourself a couple extra minutes to do some scraping. I know a lot of folks heading back to work today. Got 13 in Joplin, feeling like 4 with a south breeze at 6 miles an hour. Cold across the region, but look at the wind arrows. They're out of the south now. That's going to have a big factor in our forecast over the coming days. 14 Iola, 13 Parsons, Chatopa, Miami, 14 Neosho, and 13 Carthage, Lamar. With the wind, though, feels like 5 in Iola, 6 in Parsons, 4 in Carthage, and 8 in Lamar. All right, MoDOT camera, I-44 and Rangeline. We're looking pretty good. Roads are a lot clearer than they have been. MoDOT, KDOT both reporting much clearer roads this morning. Might still be a slick spot or two, so just be cautious out there. Otherwise, a green light for your morning drive to work and a green light for your morning drive back home this afternoon. We're mostly clear and chilly. Heading for a high, though, today, close to 40 degrees. Upward in about 39, mostly clear skies. Maybe some passing clouds, winds could gust to about 20. And then heading into tonight, 34 for an early low, and then temperatures will actually begin to rise towards sunrise. We'll be close to 40 by 6 a.m. And we wanted to show you the future winds. As we go into late tonight, tomorrow morning, we could still see wind gusts 50, 60 miles an hour across the area, and that's going to persist through Wednesday, into Wednesday evening and all the way into Thursday morning as well. So that could cause its own problems. We've been mentioning could lead to some downed small tree limbs and possible power outages, so just be prepared for that. Otherwise, 53 tomorrow, 60 on Thursday, 56 Friday, maybe an early shower New Year's Eve day. Otherwise, 53, 55, and partly cloudy on New Year's Day. And we're watching thunderstorm chances by next Monday, but we're back up to 57. So we're going to be fairly high above normal the next several days, but at the same time, we need that to be able to melt off some of the snow, and for some folks, for their pipes to thaw, and just for us to kind of get back out of this Arctic blast we've been in the last few days.
I'm glad to see the temperatures rising a little bit.
Yeah, I am too, and I think most folks out there are glad to see a little bit of warmer weather on the way.
Thank you, Chris. A massive holiday winter storm is being blamed for at least 55 deaths nationwide. President Biden signed an emergency mobilizing FEMA to assist in New York State, where there are as many as 27 related deaths in Erie County. Thousands of flights cancellation and delays continue to strand travelers at the nation's airport. Now the federal government says it's looking into one airline's actions in particular. Jared Hill has more.
It's almost unreal. A restaurant in western New York by Lake Erie is covered in heavy snow and icicles.
It's pretty heavy. That's what I'm nervous about. But nothing broke, no windows broke, no leaks.
A driving ban remained in effect in nearby Buffalo overnight, where cars are still buried under deep snowdrifts. Thousands are without power, and another foot of snow is expected there today.
Anyone who declares victory and says it's over, it is way too early to say. It is still a dangerous situation to be out.
President Biden has declared a state of emergency for New York State as the death toll there continues to climb. The mayor of Jackson, Mississippi, meanwhile, also has issued an emergency declaration for his city after frigid temperatures caused pipes to burst, leaving some residents without running water.
The infrastructure concerning the water been bad like this for years. So it's no surprise that the water turned out like it did for Christmas.
Flight cancellations and frustrations also continue to mount at the nation's airports. Southwest Airlines alone delayed or canceled more than 70% of flights on Monday. That's according to FlightAware.
Once the storm dropped in the middle of it, that just sent the system reeling, if you will.
Southwest has apologized and says it's working to get service back to normal. The U.S. Department of Transportation now says it will examine whether the cancellations were avoidable and if Southwest is complying with its customer service plan and other federal rules. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
Already more than 3,000 flights have been delayed or canceled around the U.S. today, according to FlightAware. A Sarcossy, Missouri man dies on a Joplin railroad track. Authorities say just before 10 p.m. Sunday night, random Chili's went on the railroad tracks west of businesses closer to the Fountain Road overpass north of Joplin. A Kansas City Southern train did hit Chili's. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Nobody on the train was hurt, and there is no word yet on why he was on the tracks. Earlier Monday morning, Newton County authorities responded to a single car crash near State Route NN and Dutch Elm. The car was driving east on Dutch Elm and left the roadway, hitting a guardrail and overturning. No one was injured. Authorities say they will be replacing the guardrail in the coming days, but for now, use caution through the area. The guardrail will be marked for caution. Make fun art, not fine art. That's the motto of Happy Snappy Art and Paint Party's Kids Winter Art Camp. The camp kicked off in Fort Scott, Kansas on Monday. Parents paid a $25 reservation fee and paid the remaining $100 balance on the first day of camp. It provides kids a chance to complete and take home 5 different paintings.
I think my bear was my favorite because it's one of my favorite animals. And I like the snowflakes. I like the nose I don't like, but I like the other part. And it's good.
When asked why Reed didn't like the nose, it was because it was too mushy. The camp is at 702 South National in Fort Scott and will run until 4 p.m. December 30th. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in the first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, 1.6 million, that's the number of pending asylum applicants in the U.S. right now. The numbers continue to climb as the issue of migrants in America hits the Supreme Court. We'll have the latest. Plus, wonder why babies in the womb kick so much? Researchers at the University of Tokyo say they found the reasons, and they'll tell you why coming up. And Chris takes another look at the frigid four-state forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning. Nearly 1.6 million asylum applicants are pending in the United States. That's the highest number on record. Border agents are encouraging roughly 1,500 migrants around El Paso, Texas, every day. The influx of migrants comes as the Supreme Court weighs whether to lift the Title II, the controversial pandemic-era policy that allows officials to quickly expel migrants at the border over public health concerns. Pamela Burnell has more.
A dream come true in the form of a hula hoop. Toys their parents say they would not be able to afford in their native Venezuela. An opportunity for his children, says 30-year-old Elvin Carrasquel, who left his country more than 3 months ago with his partner and 4 children. In November, they made it to the U.S. and turned themselves in to immigration authorities.
Nos devolvieron para atrás.
They sent us back, he said. And because they're not legally married, the two got separated, and after about a week in a detention center, they ended up in 2 different cities in Mexico.
El título 42 que no habían devolvido.
Elvin's partner, Caroline, says she was told they were being sent back to Mexico because of Title 42, which allows border agents to immediately expel migrants, citing COVID-19 concerns. And this is what they say led them to an illegal crossing 20 days later.
Yo quería pasar legal.
I wanted to cross legally, says Caroline, but as a family, they felt they had no other option. It's a desperation felt by many here, and as a result, they end up on the streets during a cold front in El Paso. The city accommodates those who have documentation, taking more than 400 people into this makeshift shelter in its convention center over the holiday weekend. Others ending up in Washington, D.C., outside of Vice President Kamala Harris's residence.
The majority of them are planning to, stay in D.C. or head up to New York.
While it's not clear who is responsible for sending these migrants, Texas Governor Greg Abbott has been busing migrants to northern states since April. These migrants were bused from Texas to D.C. on Christmas Eve, some wearing only a t-shirt in 18-degree weather. For Elvin and Caroline, the final destination is Chicago. They say they want to apply for refugee status, find work, and provide for their 4 children.
The Supreme Court holding a temporary hold on the lifting Title 42 last Monday. The Biden administration has asked the court to end the policy. Right now, it's unclear when the High Court might issue a ruling. That's a look at one of today's national top stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, roads are beginning to clear across the area, which is good news. You can see that on our the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line. Traffic is flowing. We don't have as many slick spots to deal with, although there are still a few out there. If you are heading out this morning, you have to deal with doing some scraping. Otherwise, not too bad, other than the fact it's cold. But there's some other good news, the fact that it's going to actually start to warm up. But do give yourself a couple of extra minutes to do a little scraping out there. Right now in Joplin, it's 13 degrees, feels like 4 with a south breeze at 6. It is still cold across the region right now. So we got temperatures sitting in the teens for the most part. 14 Iola, 12 in Pittsburgh, 13 Chetopa, Miami, 14 Neosho, and 13 over in Carthage. And you factor in even just a light breeze, feels like 4 in Fort Scott, 5 in Iola, 9 in Neosho, and feels like 4 in Carthage this morning. Many of us heading back to work for the first time after a nice long holiday weekend. The good news is aside from maybe a slick spot here or there, we're looking at a pretty good morning drive. That, in fact, is going to be cold. You're going to want to warm the car up. You're going to want to have the heat on. And then later today, it's still chilly, but warmer than what we saw yesterday, and temperatures don't actually drop through the day. We'll even have some mostly clear skies, maybe a few partly cloudy skies out there as well, so not bad. Winds today could gust upwards of about 20 miles an hour. Check this out, though, pushing a high near 40 degrees, which is going to be quite nice with those mostly clear skies. And as we head into tonight, we hit an early low of 34, somewhere around 9, 10 o'clock. And then as you see, temperatures will slowly start to rise as we head through the overnight hours with that southerly breeze increasing. And it's going to get extremely windy. We're back up to near 40 by sunrise tomorrow. We're going to take a complete look at your forecast. We're going to talk about the winds and some potential rain chances on the horizon when the KOAM Morning News returns. Well, we got a little frost to deal with this morning as temperatures are still quite cold. So as we've been mentioning, give yourself a couple extra minutes to maybe scrape some of that frost off your car, especially if you're heading back to work after the long holiday weekend. We got 13 in Joplin right now, feels like 4 with a south breeze at 6 miles an hour across the region. It is cold. We got 14 Iola, 13 Parsons, Chetopa, Miami, 14 in Neosho, and 13 in Carthage and Lamar. And even with a light breeze, feels like 5 in Iola, 6 in Parsons, 4 in Carthage, and feels like 8 in Lamar. We've been talking about the road conditions. The good news is, as you can see from KDOT, they've got a few areas marked as wet pavement. So that just means there might be a few slick spots on the roadways, but otherwise we are looking a lot clearer than what we had seen. And MoDOT on our side, on the Missouri side, we're looking at just plain old clear roads across the area. They mark that color with green, and so that's what clear is. It's just clear roads, which is good, and you can see those clear roads on the MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line looking pretty good. Got a green light for your morning drive out there. Again, a slick spot or two possible, otherwise not bad, but cold. Partly cloudy skies, and then we are chilly for your drive home, but a green light again as we'll have partly cloudy skies. Now for today, we're warming up. Temperatures will rise through the day instead of fall like they did yesterday. 39 for the high. Could see wind gusts upwards of 20 miles an hour. And as we head into tonight, we'll hit an early low of 34, and then temperatures slowly rise towards sunrise. We're pushing near 40 degrees by 6 a.m. But we also have this to contend with. So as we head into late tonight and into early tomorrow morning, check out these south winds. By 4:30 in the morning, they could be gusting upwards of 60 miles an hour in some cases. Now, the good news is these are just gusts. We're not talking sustained winds at 60, but nonetheless, winds gusting upwards of 60 miles an hour could lead to some small tree branches being downed and could cause power outages. So just be prepared for that. And as you see, as we head through Wednesday and into Wednesday night and into Thursday morning, they don't really let up. Those gusts are really going to be pushing. It won't be until about Thursday afternoon when we see a shift in the winds suddenly and finally begin to calm down across the area. 7-day forecast, warmer weather on the way, which is good news. 53 tomorrow, 60 by Thursday, 56 on Friday. Maybe a stray shower or two on New Year's Eve day. Should be out of here before it's time to celebrate. 53. Partly cloudy on New Year's Day, the first day of 2023, 55 degrees. And by Monday of next week, we are watching some thunderstorm chances across the area, but we're still way above average as we head for 57 next Monday. A lot more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning. Researchers at the University of Tokyo say there is a reason why babies can hardly keep still. They found all those kicks, wiggles, and seemingly spontaneously movements form patterns of muscle interaction that aid in their ability to perform sequential movements and have coordination as infants. A new study finds females are generally better than males at putting themselves in someone else's shoes. Researchers at the University of Cambridge studied scores from a test that measures cognitive empathy for more than 300,000 participants in 57 countries. They found females scored significantly higher than males across all countries, languages, or age. A group meditation may decrease collective stress and lower crimes and deaths, according to researchers in Iowa. A study from Maharishi International University, where staff and students practice transcendental meditation, looked at the impact of group meditation on stress-related tragedies in the U.S., overlapping the work of meditators with the FBI and CDC statistics. This time of year isn't merry and bright for everyone. The holidays can be especially hard on those who are grieving a loss of a loved one. Manny Gatler has more on how to cope with the sorrow during the holidays.
It's a season of joy that can also bring sorrow if you're grieving a loss.
You might be laughing and experiencing joy, and within seconds, feel a deep wave of sadness and be crying. And there's nothing wrong with you.
This holiday season, licensed therapist Jody Baumstein says to practice self-compassion.
Let go of this idea that things should be a certain way, because sometimes in addition to our grief, we feel this immense amount of shame, like we're doing something wrong. But it's hard because it's hard.
This time of year, Baumstein says it's important to allow yourself to feel. Since sadness can come and go, have a plan if you're out or around others.
Is there a place where we can go and take a break? Or if we really just need to leave, having some kind of exit strategy so that we don't feel trapped.
When it comes to traditions, it's okay to change them or skip them altogether.
If it feels really overwhelming to do something while you're missing someone, it's okay not to do it.
And finally, find a way to honor your loved one.
Do it in a way that feels authentic to you. That might mean cooking their favorite meal, or playing music that they love to listen to during the holidays, or even working on a project, so something that honors their memory.
Baumstein says there are many ways to honor a lost loved one. Look at pictures or videos, share funny stories, light a candle for them, or talk about what they taught you or lessons you learned from them. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Yeah, and one of the best things that we've got to work with today is even though it's very cold, we are seeing considerably clearer roads across the area. The MoDOT camera I-44 and Range Line showing us some clear roads. However, your car maybe not so clear this morning as we get some frost to contend with. So give yourself a couple extra minutes to scrape it off, especially if heading back to work for the first day since the holiday weekend. 13 degrees in Joplin, feeling like 4 with a south breeze at 6 out there. That wind's really going to kick up over the next couple of days. We are 12 in Pittsburgh, 13 Parsons, Chatopa, Miami, 14 Neosho. You factor in the wind, feels like 2 in Pittsburgh, 11 Neosho, feels like 6 in Carthage. So a very cold start for us today. We showed this earlier, but just to kind of show you again, KDOT reporting what they call wet pavement for the highways highlighted in green. Excuse me. Otherwise, clear roads across the area, so not bad whatsoever. Same on the Missouri side. Missouri highlights clear roads in green on their map, and so we've got nothing but clear roads. In terms of the major highways, I know my drive-in, some side streets in Joplin still have some slick spots on them, so be careful. Your morning drive looks pretty good. We got a green light for it. It's going to be cold, but we're looking at partly cloudy skies. And a green light for your drive home as will be partly cloudy, mostly clear. Winds could gust upwards of about 20 miles an hour today, but that's nothing compared to what they're going to do in about the next 24 hours or so. 39 for the high today, so much better day for us. A little more melting going to take place with more sunshine out there. And tonight we hit an early low of 34, and the temperatures will begin to rise as we head towards sunrise. We're looking at near 40 by 6 a.m. tomorrow, but on top of that, we're looking at wind gusts by about the same time, pushing 50, 60 miles an hour as we head into early Wednesday morning. They could breach 60 miles an hour by Wednesday afternoon. As we head into the evening, they are still gusting out there, and they will continue to do so. So just be aware these winds could cause their own problems. Despite the wind, though, 53 tomorrow, 60 on Thursday, 56 Friday, maybe a stray shower New Year's Eve day, 53, 55 New Year's Day, and some thunderstorm chances, and 57 by next Monday. Got more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Right now, at 6:30, authorities investigate a train striking and killing a Sarcoxy, Missouri man late Sunday night.
Roads are clearing out there. Temperatures are on the way up, and so is the wind. We're going to take a look at all that coming up.
Also, a car crashes into a guardrail and overturns in Newton County. Authorities report no injuries.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is 6:29. I'm Amber Jenkins.
I'm Chris Warner. So, it's cold. I've been saying it all morning. Boy, it's going to be nice to have a different tune to sing in the next few days. But the tune this morning, still the same old, same old. It's a cold start to the day. Cold enough that you might need to scrape some frost off your car. So give yourself a couple extra minutes to do so this morning. Because it is cold. 13 in Joplin. Feels like 4 out there with the south breeze at 6 miles an hour. Temperatures across the region are cold, but look at the wind arrows. See how they're coming in from the south? Some changes on the way. 15 Iola, 12 in Pittsburgh, 13 Miami, 14 Neosho, and 13 in Lamar and Carthage. Factor in that light breeze, feels like 2 up in Nevada, 2 in Pittsburgh, 7 in Columbus, 6 in Carthage, and 4 in Lamar. So a very cold start for us this morning. MoDOT camera at I-44 and Range Line looking pretty good. Got a green light for your morning drive back to work this morning. It's going to be cold, but we're going to look at partly cloudy skies otherwise. And still cold, chilly this afternoon for your drive home, but another green light. So we're going to be looking all right, but winds could be gusting upwards of 20 miles an hour, but that is peanuts compared to what the winds are going to do. All right, 39 degrees today. Temperatures on the upswing, which is a good thing under mostly clear to partly cloudy skies. Tonight, an early low of 34, and then temperatures start to rise towards sunrise. Look at that, pushing near 40 by sunrise tomorrow. So that's not bad. Here's what gets kind of cranky is the wind as we head into late tonight, early tomorrow morning. These are the future possible gusts out there, pushing 50 to 60 miles an hour. And that's strong enough that it could down some small tree limbs or even possibly result in some power outages. So even though we're not getting any thunderstorm kind of activity, these wind gusts are going to persist through Wednesday, into Wednesday night, and into Thursday morning. So just be aware that it is going to get very breezy out there over the next couple of days, and the winds will calm down by Thursday afternoon. All right, 53 tomorrow, 60 Thursday, 56 Friday. Stray shower or two possible New Year's Eve day, but that should happen before it's time to celebrate the new year. 53. First day of 2023, well above average, 55 and partly cloudy. And then we're looking at 57 next Monday, but we're also tracking some thunderstorm chances that we'll keep an eye on for you as we head into next week. So we're going from well below average to way above average, but I don't think anybody's going to complain about that too much.
No complaints here.
We need to thaw out a little bit, and not just melt some snow, but people still have some frozen pipes out there. 10 degrees last night did not help that situation, so it's going to be a little bit better as we head in the next few days.
Thank you, Chris. A Sarcoxy, Missouri man dies on a Joplin railroad track. Authorities say just before 10 p.m. Sunday night, random Chili's went on the railroad tracks west of businesses closer to the Fountain Road overpass north of Joplin. A Kansas City Southern train then hit Chili's. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Nobody on the train was hurt, and there is no word yet on why he was on the tracks. Earlier Monday morning, Newton County authorities responded to a single car crash near State Route NN in Dutch Elm. The car was driving east on Dutch Elm and left the roadway, hitting a guardrail and then overturning. No one was injured. Authorities say they will be replacing the guardrail in the coming days, but for now, use caution through the area. The guardrail will be marked for caution. KOAM is always looking to hear from aspiring journalists, so we are continuing a program where we air stories shot, written, and edited by local students. This story comes from Joplin High School. One of the best ways to get a job out of high school is with an apprenticeship. Joplin Eagles television student reporter Alex Carson shows us how students are getting a foot in the door.
While the month of November might be best known for Thanksgiving and Veterans Day, it's also home to National Apprenticeship Week, and Joplin High School is celebrating with a very special guest.
Joplin Mayor Doug Lawson visited Franklin Technology Center to sign the National Registered Youth Apprenticeship Proclamation and learn more about how the school is preparing students to enter the workforce. Franklin Tech is an important part for Joplin and the surrounding communities. We need exactly what Franklin Tech produces. Luke Smith is in FTC's Auto Tech program, but for a few hours a day, he's an apprentice at Blackford Auto. And he feels it's a nice way to get a foot in the door.
Apprenticeship is a really good way to get into the shop and actually get hands-on work, live work, not just everyday planned out jobs.
Michelle Blackford is the co-owner, and she feels that the mayor's visit will inspire more to follow in his footsteps.
I think anytime you have community leadership and leaders in the community that recognize programs like this that aren't your typical, funneling kids to a 4-year program, but it's a different opportunity that benefits kids and benefits the community and the workforce. I think anytime those kinds of things are given attention, it's a positive thing.
While in-school practice is helpful, she feels that real-world experience is best.
Hands-on experience in actual work circumstances really prepares them for when they go out, they graduate and they get out of school and they go to an actual job.
Along with Auto Tech, FTC also has apprenticeships in HVAC, auto collision, engineering, and early childhood. Reporting for Jet HD, this is Alex Carson.
Again, thanks to Joplin High School student Alex Carson for that report. If you have already taken down your Christmas tree but aren't sure what to do with it, the City of Joplin has 3 collection points for discard. Starting yesterday and running through January 31st, you can discard natural trees at the following locations: Humphrey Park on Ithaca Street in the Royal Heights area, McNindle Park at Glendale Road and Jackson Avenue, place trees in the southwest corner of the parking lot, and the Public Works Center at 1301 West 2nd Street. Just look for the Christmas tree sign drop-off sign. People are welcome to pick up the trees for use in establishing fish habitats. Joplin City Hall staff will take the remaining trees to the city's processing site to be chipped. This morning we are discussing adopting animals.
Yeah, Monica McCarker has lived in Watertown for 5 years. A couple months ago, she returned home to the West Bank to visit her family with her husband Elias and their daughter. That's when they found someone they just couldn't leave behind.
The couple approached the dog and gave her and her puppies food and water. They worked on getting her into the only shelter in the West Bank and checked on her every day in the same spot they found her.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. Do you have any plans to adopt an animal anytime soon? So far, 89% of you say you do not. 11% say that you do. You can vote through our website, through our app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
Nice. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour of the KOAM Morning News. Now that the pandemic has taken a backseat to everyday life, many Americans have decided to take that once-in-a-lifetime trip off the bucket list.
And we are taking a look at a warmer forecast that's on the way. We'll show you how warm it's going to get and how windy it's going to get when the KOAM Morning News returns.
In Consumer Watch this morning, flight cancellations due to the massive winter storm over the weekend left thousands of Americans stranded in airports. Now the Department of Transportation says it will probe the actions of one particular airline, Southwest. Southwest canceled more than 60% of its flights over the holidays. The department says it will look into whether those cancellations were controllable and if the air carrier completed its customer service plan and other federal rules. Holiday sales grew this year by 7.6%, despite still suffering high prices due to inflation, according to the data from MasterCard Spending Pulse. That's still a lower pace than last year's growth of 8.5% right after the pandemic. The latest data does not include auto industry sales and is not adjusted for inflation. And the next season of NFL's Sunday Ticket will have a new home. A National Football League reached a multi-year agreement to stream its Sunday games viewing package on YouTube. The subscription price has not yet been determined, and the NFL says it will work with YouTube to determine the distribution of the commercial establishments such as bars. Since it was the first launch back in 1994, Sunday Ticket has only been available on DirecTV. Not being allowed to travel during the pandemic created a thirst for once-in-a-lifetime trips once restrictions were lifted. And those trips sometimes includes bucket list hotels and extra special rooms at those properties. Winnie Gillette reports.
For some, a bucket list hotel room in the Maldives means a bubble. If the turquoise waters of the Indian Ocean and overwater pools and villas aren't special enough at Finaloo Resort, add on a night in the beach bubble tent, which has all the comforts of home. Inside a bubble on a private beach. The $1,000 a night stay includes beachside meals served by a butler.
If Mother Nature allowed us, it would be booked really probably about 350 days out of 365.
If space is more your idea of paradise in the Maldives, Vela Private Island offers a standalone overwater villa accessible only by boat, known as the Romantic Residence, with a little beach, big pool, gym, jacuzzi, spa, and several areas for eating, including a gazebo on a floating jetty. It's so special, stars stay here for rates starting at $7,000 a night. Eye-popping prices, but these days, even many of us non-celebs are opting for upgrades.
What we're seeing now is that people are actually wanting to get better rooms. So they want the best hotel, but now instead of the entry-level rooms, they're wanting the suites.
There's no traditional suite at Lion Sands Ivory Lodge in Kruger National Park in northeast South Africa, but there are treehouse rooms. Beds overlook the bush. The tree houses have running water but no lights, only lanterns to immerse yourself in nature for around $240 a person, plus the cost of a regular room, in case the late night roars prove too scary. Lion Sands has 3 of these tree houses. They're sold out most nights of the year. We got special rates at these hotels. Heading down south to wine country, a stay at Babylon Storn gives you views like this from the porch of your cottage. At this working farm, take a bath here and pretend this is your kitchen. Another item on the bucket list. Wendy Gillette, CBS News.
That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yes, indeed. And yesterday, the temperatures went down as the day progressed. But today, they will go up, which is what we like to see. It's what's supposed to happen. You know, when the sun comes out, temperature's supposed to go up. That's what it's going to do. 39 degrees today. Mostly clear to partly cloudy skies throughout the day. Maybe some wind gusts to 20 miles an hour. As we head into tonight, we drop to an early low of 34, and then take a look at this. This is the odd man out, so we're getting the reverse effect. Temperatures are going to rise overnight to near 40 degrees by sunrise. However, as we head towards sunrise, we're looking at the possibility of wind gusts pushing 50, 60 miles an hour. And that's enough As we've been saying all morning, we said it yesterday, it could down some small tree limbs and result in some power outages. Not to mention, the trash can forecast that we have does not cover 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Your trash can will be next county over with these kinds of breezes, and it's going to be that way as we go through Wednesday and into Thursday morning. So make sure your trash can is secured tonight, unless you're an early riser like we are and you just happen to be up at 2 o'clock in the morning to beat the wind. All right, 53 tomorrow, 60 on Thursday, 56 Friday. Stray shower or two possible New Year's Eve day, but that should be out of here before it's time to celebrate. 53, 55 and partly cloudy on New Year's Day. And then by Monday, 57 with some storm chances. Be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Abe Thompson. Staff Sergeant Thompson served in the Army in 1944. He served in Central Europe with the 39th Field Artillery Battalion. During his service, he earned a Bronze Star Medal, an American Defense Ribbon, and a Good Conduct Medal. A native of Pittsburgh, Kansas, we thank you, today's four-state hero, Abe Thompson.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays here in the four states. We begin in Oswego with Brogan Royer, who celebrated his 10th birthday on Monday. Looks like he did it in style, though, there with Santa. Brogan, a happy belated birthday to you.
And we have Nolan Sparks turning 12 in Baxter Springs.
We've also got Rylan Herlocker turning 12 over in Girard. Rylan, a happy birthday.
Zane Imhoff turned 18 in Pittsburgh, Kansas.
And we got Ricky Edwards in Frontenac celebrating birthday number 22. And this comes with love from Mom and the family.
Casey Carr turned 28 in Moron, Kansas.
Shayla Kellogg celebrated birthday number 30 on Monday in Columbus. Shayla, happy birthday.
Michael O'Ballen turned 36 in Kansas. Happy birthday to my baby boy from your mama. His birthday was also on Monday.
We also have Brooke Powell celebrating birthday number 40. With wishes from your mom and dad, we love you. Happy birthday, Brooke.
Lenny Harvey turned 76 in Benedict, Kansas.
Galen Higgins celebrating a birthday on Monday in Joplin. Galen, happy birthday.
Jared and Laura is celebrating their 9th anniversary in Jasper, Missouri.
And we've also got Clyde and Jenny Stallings celebrating their 45th wedding anniversary in Joplin.
Ben Dager also celebrating in Columbus, Kansas.
As well as Todd Layson celebrating in the bus. Happy birthday and happy anniversary to all of you. Now, to help contribute to this amazing list, Amber's going to tell you what you need to know.
You can just submit birthdays to our email at birthdays@komtv.com, or you can submit the birthdays at komnewsnow.com.
And while you're at our website checking in on all the latest neat things it has to offer, you can sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. You get some cool deals from local businesses. You also get a birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So head over to komnewsnow.com excuse me, and sign up for the birthday club today. You can celebrate the birthday club too. In case anybody hasn't noticed, it's cold outside. I've had to be outside. I know you've all been outside, and it's starting to take its toll on me a little bit of a stuffy nose, a little cough going on. So if I sound like I'm on death's doornail here, that's just why. Just try and avoid being outside if you can. If you got to go outside, layer up more than what I do, because obviously it's just not enough. We are looking at much clearer roads, which is a great thing across the area. It's about time. The plow crews have been out there working for days, and now in concert with the sun and some slightly warmer weather that's on the way, we're finally getting there. However, your car, not so much. There's no sunlight at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., so you might have to do a little frost scraping this morning, so give yourself a couple of minutes to do that. All right, it is cold, though. 13 in Joplin, feeling like 4, with the south breeze at 6. It's going to get even windier. Across the region, 2 features to note. 1, it's cold. I mean, just look. That's cold. It got really quiet in here. Did the AC shut off or something? Okay, so anyway, it's really silent in the studio suddenly. It's cold, but also look at the wind arrows coming in out of the south. Looking pretty good. That's a good thing. 13 in Pittsburgh, 13 Miami, 14 Neosho. You factor in that light breeze, it feels like 1 in Pittsburgh, 2 Columbus, 11 Neosho, and 7 in Carthage. But we have good news on the way. MoDOT folks are adjusting the camera on us. We don't control that, just so you know. So this was pretty wild. Okay, well, back to I-44 and Rangeline. If you're planning your morning drive, that has never happened before. This whole weathercast is turning upside down. You got a green light for your morning drive as we're looking pretty good, just cold out there. And we got a green light for your drive home as we mostly clear. It's still a bit on the chilly side. Temperatures actually going up today instead of down like they did yesterday. 39 for the high. Mostly clear. Winds gusting around, say 20 miles an hour. So nothing compared to what they're about to do. 34 for an early low, and then temperatures will rise overnight near 40 by sunrise. And then look at this. Winds as we head into tonight and tomorrow morning. It's about 5 a.m. So what, about 23 hours from now, 22 hours from now, we're looking at wind gusts pushing 50 to 60 miles an hour. And that will continue through Wednesday, into the afternoon, into the evening, into Thursday morning. These winds won't start to die down until Thursday afternoon. So that could cause its own problems. 7-day forecast real quick. 53 tomorrow, 60 on Thursday, 56 Friday. Stray shower or 2 possible New Year's Eve day, 53. Partly cloudy New Year's Day and 55, and then maybe some storm chances by next Monday and a high of 57. We're back with the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. A Sarcoxy, Missouri man dies on a Joplin railroad track. Authorities say just before 10 p.m. Sunday night, random Chili's went onto the railroad tracks west of businesses closer to the Fountain Road overpass north of Joplin. A Kansas City Southern train then hit Chili's. He was pronounced dead on the scene. Nobody on the train was hurt, and there was no word yet on why he was on the tracks in the first place. Earlier Monday morning, Newton County authorities responded to a single car crash near the state route NN and Dutch Elm. The car was driving east on Dutch Elm and left the roadway, hitting a guardrail and overturning. No one was injured. Authorities say they will be replacing the guardrail in the coming days, but for now, use caution through the area. The guardrail will be marked for caution. Make fun art, not fine art. That's the motto of Happy Snappy Art and Paint Patriot's Kids Winter Art Camp. The camp kicked off in Fort Scott, Kansas on Monday. Parents had to pay a $25 reservation fee and pay the remaining $100 balance on the first day of camp. It provides kids a chance to complete and take home 5 different paintings. If you're already taking down your Christmas tree but aren't too sure what to do with it, the city of Joplin has tree collection points for discard. Starting yesterday and running through January 31st, you can discard natural trees at the following locations: Humphrey Park on Ithaca Street in the Royal Heights area, Indo Park at Glendale Road and Jackson Avenue, place trees on the southwest corner of the parking lot, and the Public Works Center at 1301 West 2nd Street. Just look for the Christmas tree drop-off sign. People are welcome to pick up the trees for use in establishing fish habitats. Joplin City staff will take the remaining trees to the city processing site to be chipped. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
We are looking at a nicer day for us today. 39 for the high. Winds could gust to about 20 miles an hour. Otherwise, mostly cleared, partly cloudy skies heading into tonight. An early low of 34. Temperatures will rise towards sunrise, and they will continue to rise through the week. 53 tomorrow, 60 Thursday, 56 Friday. Maybe a shower or 2 possible New Year's Eve day before the celebrations. 53, 55 on New Year's Day. And then we're looking at some thunderstorm chances by next Monday and a high of 57.
Making Sunshine State strawberry shortcake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. Most Americans say they're considering making financial New Year's resolutions for 2023. Coming up on CBS Mornings, CBS News business analyst Jill Schleichinger has tips for making the most of your money.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, we got Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission to show us how to make an evening dip that's perfect for your next holiday gathering.
I did not mean to make that so loud. Plus, we're taking a look at one of our first group of J365 journalists. That's going to wrap it up for us for now. We're back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.
Yes, we will.